Welcome to the Wonder and Wild podcast. I'm Cass, founder of Wonder and Wild, a homeschool program created for families who want strong academics without sacrificing childhood. Around here, we believe children were made to think, create, explore, question, and grow. We believe homeschooling can be structured without being stiff, rich without being overwhelming, and deeply connected to real life. So whether you're already homeschooling, just beginning to wonder if you could, or simply looking for a calmer, more meaningful way to educate your children, I'm so glad you're here. Let's get into today's episode. Today, I thought we would do something a little bit different and a little bit more personal. I've shared before about the bigger story behind Wonder and Wild, but today I thought that we would zoom in a little bit more. Not just the curriculum, the business, or the educational philosophy, but the little things that make me, me. Because if you're going to trust someone with part of your homeschool journey, I think it's really nice to know who they actually are. Not in a polished biography sort of way, but in the ordinary, real life, what do your mornings look like kind of way. So, I'm Cass, the founder of Wonder and Wild, and I'm a teacher, wife, mum, lover of the colour pink, cup of tea first kind of person, chocolate brownie enthusiast, and someone who is slowly trying to remove as much plastic from my home as humanly possible. I do like coffee, and if I have one, it's usually an almond latte, but tea is my daily go-to. Coffee is more of a social thing for me, or something I reach for after one of those long nights where the children have decided sleep is apparently optional. I married my childhood sweetheart, which is still one of the loveliest parts of my story. And these days, our life is very much full of a mix of family, homeschooling, church, Wonder and Wild, children's activities, cups of tea, washing that seems to reproduce on its own, and trying to create a home that feels warm and full of life. Education has been part of my world for as long as I can remember. I'm the eldest of 3 children, and I grew up around schools because my dad was a principal. In many ways, I've been living and breathing education since I was born. School life was not just something that sat separately from home life. It was all around us all the time. The people, the conversations, the responsibility, the care for students and families, the rhythm of a school community. It shaped me long before I ever became a teacher myself. Before teaching, I worked in a few different worlds whilst I was studying at university. I worked in real estate, event planning and wedding planning, and I travelled around with my husband while working in PR. Looking back now, I can see pieces of that in Wonder and Wild. The organisation, the creativity, the love of the thoughtful details, the ability to plan something with lots of moving parts, and the desire to create something that feels like an experience, not just a product. For a while, I thought I might become a vet, an interior designer, or even an architect. I loved animals, homes, design, and beautiful spaces. And honestly, I still do. Interior design is one of my favourite things. But I could never shake how much I love children. I love their joy, their honesty, their questions, and the way they see the world. I wanted to do something that helped people deeply. I wanted to help children become the best versions of themselves, not just academically, but as whole people. That is what drew me into teaching. Personally, when I was at school, my favourite subject was visual arts. I loved the creativity of it and the way an idea could become something that you could just see and hold. But when I became a teacher myself, my favourite subject to teach was writing. Writing is so much more than spelling and punctuation. It's the voice, the thinking, the imagination, the confidence, and learning how to communicate what's inside you. There is something incredibly special about watching a child go from "I don't know how to write" to proudly reading their own words aloud. These days, our mornings usually start with my husband's eggs on toast. He takes the breakfast shift every day because I do most of the other cooking, and also because he genuinely loves cooking too. I love that our children see him in the kitchen. I love that they're growing up watching both of us contribute to the rhythm of the home in different ways. I usually have a warm cup of black tea, then depending on the day, we might be rushing out the door to tennis, gymnastics, ballet or church. On the days we're home, the mornings often begin slowly with open-ended play. It might be Play-Doh, the mud kitchen, little worlds being created on the floor, or children disappearing into their own imaginary games. I really value that kind of play. I do not think every moment of a childhood needs to be scheduled or turned into a lesson. Some of the most important learning children do happens when adults step back a little and give them space to create, pretend, explore, and solve problems. People often ask, when do we actually homeschool? And honestly, we do not have one locked-in plan. We go with the flow of family life. A great time we have found though has been in the middle of the day while our youngest is napping, because the house is quieter and we can focus. On rainy days, we often do more because we're inside anyway. On busy days, we might do less. That is one of the things I love about homeschooling. It doesn't need to look exactly the same every day to be working. Food is a very happy part of our family life too. I love my chocolate brownies. I'm not even going to pretend to be humble about them because they truly are the best ever. I also love a good pasta, and there is not much better for me than a lamb roast done well. Our home is the kind of place where food, family, conversation, and children moving in and out of the kitchen belong all together. Outside of Wonder and Wild, I love forward driving, camping, adventures, horse riding, interior design, and a good date night with my husband. Date nights are something we've prioritised our whole relationship. Since having children, the regularity has changed because we genuinely love being home with our kids. But with grandparents just down the road, we try to have them pop over at least once a month so we can get out together and have a proper quality time. I also love a good comfort show. Friends is my favourite, and I've watched it through definitely at least 10 times. I love sweet reality shows like Farmer Wants a Wife too. But I'm truly very passionate about the fact that I don't like scary shows at all. I only watched Harry Potter for the first time in my 20s because I was genuinely too scared before then, which probably tells you everything that you need to know about me. Faith is also a part of who I am. I'm a Christian, and that shapes the way I see children, family, education, and purpose. I believe children are deeply valuable, uniquely created, and full of potential. I believe parenting is a privilege, childhood is worth protecting, and that education should help children grow into all they were created to be. One of the things I'm asked about a lot is community, because homeschooling can feel lonely if you're trying to do it completely on your own. The beautiful thing is that community does not need to look one particular way. Inside the Wonder and Wild private group, I have been so encouraged watching mums find each other, organise catch-ups, plan activities, and even arrange trips to places like the aquarium. It has become such a lovely space because families have chosen the same program, which often means they already share the same view of homeschooling, children, and education. If you're in a regional town, it is also worth looking for local homeschool groups. And if there's not one that suits your family values, you can change that and start something simple. It doesn't need to be a big co-op or weekly commitment. I'm in one in my area, and I'm part of a group with like-minded mums and dads. We catch up once a month for coffee and to let the children play. It's simple, manageable, and it is enough. I do think that sometimes we can become consumed by the idea that our children need constant, organised social opportunities. Co-ops, homeschool groups, activities and classes can all be wonderful, but they're not the only measure of a healthy homeschool life. I know so many families who are thriving by doing their own thing and spending time with whole family friends. Community matters, but it should support the family and not swallow it. At the heart of all of this is the reason that Wonder and Wild exists. I wanted a homeschool program that honoured both strong academics and a real childhood. I wanted children to be taught well, but also wanted them to have time to play outside, build cubbies, bake, read, create, imagine, get muddy, ask big questions, and learn through real life. I wanted parents to feel supported without feeling like they had to recreate school at home. Wonder and Wild is personal to me because it carries so many of these things I value most. Good teaching, strong foundations, creative projects, family life, time outdoors, beautiful books, hands-on learning, a slower childhood, parents who are willing to show up, and children who are being raised to think deeply, solve problems, and contribute to the world around them. So I hope that helps you learn a little bit more about me. I'm a teacher who loves education, a mum who loves having her children home, a wife who starts most mornings with her husband's eggs on toast, a Christian who believes children are created with purpose, a pink-loving tea drinker who thinks brownies absolutely count as a whole love language, and someone who genuinely believes homeschooling can be one of the richest gifts a family ever gives itself. That's the heart behind Wondering Wild, and I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for listening to the Wondering Wild podcast. I hope today's episode encouraged you, gave you something helpful to think about, and reminded you that homeschooling does not have to look like school at home. If you'd like to learn more about Wondering Wild, you can explore our homeschool programs, free resources, and parent support at our website or by following the links in the description. We are here for strong academics, rich childhoods, and creating thinkers, not workers. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.